On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. The world is definitely going through a transition. Many are waking. And in fact, I mean, from my vantage point, over the 25, 30 years, I have seen us go from very few people being awake. You had like secret handshakes and stuff, how you found each other. It's actually easier than that. You just ask some simple questions, you'd figure it out. It's just kind of how we do it nowadays. But it's gotten significantly more. There's way more people awake today than there were way back then. And it's taken these weird moments in history to shake us awake. And in some cases, and what we're finding a lot now, information being dumped. Information that's been kept from us. We've got that going on here with this great guy. And by the way, is it just me or do these look like two Jelly Bellies? Because I love Jelly Bellies. I was almost going to make the thumbnail that, and I'm like, that's not going to help your show any. It's funny as hell, but yeah, and it's like, which Jelly Belly do you want? Dude, I want them both. What are you talking about? Those are delicious. Was that the cinnamon one or is it cherry? Either way, it's going to be a good time. And then, what, blue? Blueberry? I don't know. By the way, it reminds me of that methylene blue. Finally tried that. Not a real big fan. I swear to God, when I peed, it seemed like it was like a weird color, like there's some blue in there. Whatever the case is. I tried it. Tasted funny too, but whatever. It's supposed to be good for you. It stained my cup. So I added some more water after I cleaned it out, and it's made the water blue again, so whatever the hell. It's doing something, they say. I got a lot of really good video. Trump did a cabinet meeting today for this 100 days and all that. It was fantastic. I actually watched most of it. It's probably a little why I'm late. Ended up getting a bunch of video out of it. I got like 15, 20 minutes just there. I actually put a couple of them on my Twitter feed, which is where I'm going to play them from. Hopefully that works fine. And then I did another one just recorded, and I'll play that. So again, a lot of good stuff there. Got a lot of video in general to cover. Stuff going on with the war and the potential mineral deal. We'll see. I don't know. Ukraine's playing some funny shenanigans. Russia is like, look, here's what we want. Here's what it's got to be, and or else. And I think Trump's going to be playing along with that just fine. I don't think there's a lot Europe or anybody else can do. And again, a lot is happening. I swear, I feel like you miss a day. It's like Saturdays. I'm just glad some people don't do news on weekends, man, because otherwise it's brutal. It's brutal trying to catch up. Someone's pointing out, and this is kind of cool, all the extra gold. This is Dan Scavino's post, but all the gold, which is so Trump, but in the Oval Office. Now, I can see this pissing people off, but it also looks regal, like the White House should. Kind of cool, I think. Actually brings out some really fun memories for me. So back when I, quote unquote, had my stalker or whatever, the person I think was one of the families, it's a lot of fun stuff. But one of the things I used to do, because I felt like every time we talked on the phone, I heard Dad, at least this is the way we believed our story, was listening, right? So he was the dude that was like the, secret agent man or whatever. And so I'd always play Hail to the Chief every time. And then I'd make fun of how, like, if I was ever, like, with this individual, like, I'd be the guy that's constantly going out and visiting Dad in his workspace. And I'd like, hey, Will, you need any help? You need anything? Need some chips? No? Cool. Hey, everything good? Or you? So I used to be funny to me. And I don't know if I ever liked it, but Hail to the Chief. Just ironic. We've got RFK Jr. claiming something. For people that watch me on a regular basis, and especially for those of you that got pissed off at me, just gonna say, sometimes it's not worth getting mad at the messenger. Keep that in mind. Anyway, RFK Jr. claims DARPA mixing chemtrail agents into commercial jet fuels. But Dan, when I go online and say, what are the ingredients in jet fuel? It doesn't show that. No. It wouldn't. It wouldn't show it. RFK Jr.'s claiming it anyways. We'll see what happens if it's there. Geoengineers, want Boeing 777s to dump sulfur into the sky, risking acid rain, amongst other things, probably. But yeah, sulfur dioxide to create clouds. to block the sun. Sulfur. You know, that smell like rotten eggs and other things. Creates acid rain, sulfur dioxide, or sulfuric acid, which is a really bad kind of acid. Just saying. Tosh 4.0, or Tosh, I don't know why I always want to call him 4.0. It's Tosh, what, 0.0 or whatever his show's called. I like Tosh. He's a funny guy. His name's Dan, by the way, which is pretty cool. This was a pretty funny little bit that he did that's over here on the side screen that you might want to see.
Canada has the greatest fence ever built. America. It is foolproof if you can afford it. Really easy to be the cool, open-minded hippie country when there's a Kevlar Snuggie of America draped around your fat, frozen asses, daring the world to talk shit. We don't use our military. We know. We got you taken care of. Go back to bed. We'll wake you when the NHL playoffs start.
Not trying to be a dick to our Canadian friends, honk honk, but, you know. You guys are going to be having to do your own little set of fighting. And by the way, and I think I speak for almost all of us, we love you guys, man. We actually love the hell out of you guys. So whatever, if you want to start hating on your neighbor, so be it. We're ready for it. Trump said, I could get El Salvador to return Abrego Garcia. This is actually a pretty good little interview. It'll upset you a little bit because, frankly, this dude was being disrespectful. Trump calls him out, and that's kind of beautiful. But here it is. Check it out.
Ask about one man and one court order. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's the Salvadoran man who crossed into this country illegally, but who is under a protective order that he not be sent back to El Salvador. Your government sent him back to El Salvador and acknowledged in court that was a mistake. And now the Supreme Court has upheld an order that you must return him facilitate his return to the United States. What are you doing to comply?
Well, the lawyer that said it was a mistake was here a long time, was not appointed by us, should not have said that, and just so you understand, the person that you're talking about, you know, you're making this person sound, this is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife, and the wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from Maryland.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands, sir.
He came into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has ordered you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
But the buck stops in this office.
No. I follow the law. You want me to follow the law? If I were the president that just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right where he is.
Supreme Court says what the law is.
Listen, I was elected to take care of a problem. It was a unforced error that was made by a very incompetent man, a man that turned out to be incompetent, that you always said was wonderful, great genius, right? And now you find out, all of the media now, they're saying what a mistake they made. A man who was grossly incompetent allowed us to have open borders where millions of people flowed in. I campaigned on that issue. I wouldn't say it was my number one issue, but it was pretty close.
Right up there.
I campaigned on that issue. I've done an amazing job. I have closed borders. He said you couldn't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it. It would never happen. Well, it happened, and it happened very quickly. Wait a minute. When we have criminals, murderers, criminals in this country, we have to get them out, and we're doing it.
By law.
And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
over that. Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshopped? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't
Take a look
there,
at the
but
photograph.
they're there now, right?
No,
but they're
in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look at that.
You do
We'll take
such
a
a
look.
disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested. Ukraine.
Coming up.
Yeah, that kind of didn't go well. Now, I pray to God he's 100% right, and it wasn't the typical MS-13 tattoo. Maybe one hand's got that and the other, I don't know. I pray Trump is 100% right on that. He's usually not wrong. So, yeah. And we'll see. We'll find out. They're going to say a lot of things. I'll tell you that. They're going to show us pictures, and then Trump's going to show pictures, and they're going to be like, those are photoshopped. And he's like, all right, so the ones by the government are the photoshopped ones. And, I mean, at least we'll all be on the same page. Can't trust the government. That's helpful. At least 16 dead in flooding and tornadoes as storms slashed from Texas to Ohio. It's just been crazy weather that's been coming through. It was so bad that it even jacked up this Coors Light vehicle. That's very sad. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's just horrible. 16 people dead. That's catastrophic. And a couple times I've shown some of the crazy tornadoes that have been happening. So again, just some brutal, brutal weather that's been happening. And I actually don't think it's what the deep state always says. I actually think it's indicative of the magnetic field changing that's happening, which most likely is going to lead to a pole shift of some kind, or some sort of crazy magnetic flip or something, which I just don't know how that's going to play out, but it should be interesting. We'll see. I think there's stuff we can do, or there's things we can, anyway, there's stuff. Just let's get to the point where we can actually get our energy under control and get people to stop wanting to kill each other here and actually focus on something altogether. It would be amazing what we could actually do on this planet. Just sharing this story because this one part, cargo shipments from China to U.S. have plummeted since Washington hiked tariffs to 145% in April. And see, one thing is funny how people kind of tend to look at this, or at least it's being spun in the media for sure, is that because they're sending less cheap crap here, oh no, that means we're not going to be able to get that cheap crap. Oh no, we're never going to be able to get stuff. Oh no. But what this actually does, whenever there's a vacancy of a product, what happens? China's been doing it the other way around, by the way, and we'll just be doing it back, kind of. Whenever there's a product that's really good here in the States, China figures out how to make it, makes it 100% cheaper, and then sells it here. Well, they can't do that now. So what's going to happen? Well, we'll make that product here. People will find that product, make it here, sell it here. Why? Because it's a huge gold mine opportunity, especially if you can do it affordably, which it's going to cost a little more, but it'll be American made. So this is what that creates. This vacancy that everybody's like, oh, nothing's going to show up and the shelves are going to be empty. It's be like, yeah. So what that's going to do is give entrepreneurs, all sorts of people, an opportunity to fill those voids. We have the technology in place to be able to ship stuff everywhere. So please. And you can start in a garage and you can work your way up. You can start in a room and work your way up. Doesn't matter. It's how a lot of these companies start. So this is not what they keep selling it as. I think it's going to be, I think we're actually heading into the new world. The transition's being done. I even think a lot of funds are getting an opportunity to be able to pull money out of the stock market and then put it back into different stocks, though I don't think it's necessarily a great idea. Greatest tightening shock the market has ever seen. Chinese copper is actually running super low. In fact, they think China is going to run out of copper in weeks, like less than a couple months max. China run out of copper. Copper is something that's used in all sorts of stuff. Copper is just like, it's like putting eggs. It's like putting eggs in something. Everything's got eggs in it, or should, damn it, or bacon, one of the two. And one of those two damn things should end up in there. Unless for some reason you can't eat bacon, then I'm sorry. It's delicious. It's not healthy, but it's freaking yummy. Chinese copper stock, so running out in weeks. So that's an interesting little thing. See, this game of chicken, both sides are are melting. You know what I mean? Like, and so this is who can withhold and withstand. And both sides think they've got the strength, but the thing that we know that's very American, because China doesn't have an economy that allows its own citizens to buy products, because most of them don't really have extra money. We do. That's how our economy's based. So when you stop selling us, or when you suddenly start adding additional costs to your products, it suddenly become expensive. They may be easy, but too expensive now. Then you lose. And people start to fill that gap locally. WTI off the lows after large crude gasoline inventory draws. This is something that's very interesting. Gold was super low. Just checked a few things earlier before I started recording. I didn't pay attention to oil again, but it was 58 something earlier today. 58 something, way under 60, frankly. Now, Trump is filling the strategic reserves right now. Isn't that interesting? We're also pumping extra oil. OPEC Plus is pissed. We're going to get to that story. And they're doing something. They're not calling us out per se, but I still wonder how much of it is us. Oh, this is the story. How funny. Oil prices extend their recent plunge this morning as traders expect Saudi Arabia to steer OPEC Plus to agree on another supply surge next week. So what OPEC Plus is saying is, look, here's the thing. We need you guys to push supply. And what that does is the smaller countries, or, well, not necessarily smaller, the places that are trying to drill up now are going to have a very hard time doing it because the price of gold's come down, or price of oil's come down so far that it's no longer cost effective to try to get it out of the ground. It's literally costing them way too much money because of the way they're doing it. Mines are already in place. Companies that already know what the hell they're doing and they can do it reasonably inexpensively, they're going to make it. And it still makes sense because we know what's coming. So this is a crush on somebody. I'm not sure if it's us, though Trump just talked about how we were doing something that was going to allow us to pump an extra 100 million barrels a day. I think it was a day. It's a lot of oil, by the way. I think. Seems like it. Sounds like it. That's for sure. So we are in the middle of something, and that's going to affect world markets. The price of oil, price of fuel, price of energy, all those things matter tremendously. It's a huge cost. It's a huge part of the cost of every single good and service and person that you pay for in your life. Huge cost is energy. Nothing to do with tariffs, right? Trump blames Biden on the overhang, of course. And that, again, right, wrong, and different. Of course, it's not his economy fully. He's doing all the things. He's got over $5 trillion coming in investments, right? Of course, the stock market's freaking out right now because he's doing what needs to be done. He's getting us off of the deep state system. The deep state is very heavily invested in the stock markets, and there's nowhere else for them to go with their bullshit money. Crypto, but then what? To move it to another market, maybe? So crypto goes spiking and then comes crashing down. Yeah, that's these big players moving money into a crypto for a moment so they can transfer it to another thing. Everyone's like, see, it works perfectly. Yeah, as an intermediary, not a place to like hold on to this imaginary thing as like it's worth something. Now, Bitcoin kind of the exception, but I don't know. I mean, again, we'll see. If shit hits the fan, your Bitcoins are worth nothing as far as, like the fact that I've got CDs and a bunch of them. I mean literally music CDs and stuff. Like most of the music I play, I'll buy the CD just to make sure I got it legally. But yeah, it is, at least somebody's going to have a bunch of music. Got a decent movie collection, but mostly it's going to be the music, guys. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to cover a lot of it anyways. Many of you will as well. So we're going into a transition, a change, a dealing, something. I don't know how it plays out. So the fact that frankly, the stock market hasn't shat itself worse than it is, I don't really feel like that's a cuss word when you say it like that. U.S. economy shrinks 0.3%. So we shrunk. Again, they're going to blame Trump. It's not really Trump's fault. Real numbers are finally starting to come out. Biden was trying to hide all this stuff for the election. That's compounded the problem. And then they knew they were going to glom onto Trump and blame him for it. whatever. It is what it is. Frankly, I don't care. I'm not going to fight the fight with anybody. Anybody that's like, hey, he's horrible. It's like, all right, whatever. I got to go. I got shit to do. I got better things to do for sure than talk to your ass or your face. Either or. Same thing. I can't tell them apart. So, what are you going to do? So, yeah, everything's, down. Not a lot. Dow's down 0.5%, basically. S&P's down a little more. NASDAQ's down about 1%. Gold is down a little bit. It's at $33.14. Still an incredible price. So I'm loving it. I'm loving where I'm at right now. Silver, I wish I had on this graph because, I could pull it up with Kitco. But oil, though, yeah, it's down a bunch. $2.32 in one day. This was what OPEC did. OPEC's decision caused the cost of oil to go down over $2. That made it extremely expensive. Now, I think it affects us because we're probably one of the more, I don't know, we've got some play. It might be who owns the wells versus who doesn't. You know what I mean? I kind of wonder. There's something baked into that, and I think it's going to hurt the bad guys. But I'll honestly admit I don't fully know how yet. I don't know how it quite. I haven't pieced those last pieces together. Trump admin blocked around $430 billion in federal funds, says top Democrat. Like, that's a bad thing. I'm just going to celebrate. I don't care if she's poo-pooing it. It's like, yeah, you can poo-poo all over it. You can pee-pee on it. I don't give a crap. $430 billion. Thank you. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald J. Trump. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Folks, get out of their system, please. I don't think it's a good idea. These guys, Goldco, they're really good at doing this. They don't believe all the crazy crap that comes out of my face, but we've got an awesome relationship. They're going to help you do this legally, tax-free, penalty-free. It's going to get all the paperwork done, I's dotted and T's crossed. It's going to get you a bunch of free stuff, up to 10% free silver. Silver's so undervalued right now. So undervalued. That is the one where, like, if shizzle really hits the fan, like, everything else is continuing to happen. It's just how bad it is. But whatever the case is, the value of silver is multiples. It is definitely a very good investment. In fact, it's another one where I'm like, price of precious metals are reasonably high right now. I'm not wanting to buy gold per se, but definitely some silver. I think getting some more silver is a fabulous idea. In fact, it's something I've been bugging myself to do and still need to do. I just got to sit down on a different computer and do it. Pretty much. All said, gold, silver, huge asset values going up. It's protection. It's what it does. Always has, always will. Pirates running around with their treasure chest. Matey, you got some gold, matey. Right? And it's that Pulp Fiction moment where just the gold on their face. Epic. Well, that could be how you feel about your protected wealth, right? Your wealth's in that little chest and you open it up, it's just gold on your face. Now you feel safe. Now you feel confident, secure. Why? Because you literally have a physical thing in your hand. Well, it's technically in a trust if we're doing the 401k, but you can cash it out, physical metals if you want, or they've got the highest price buyback guarantee, Goldco, so they can help you transition that into Federal Reserve notes or, when the time comes, Treasury notes. It is an amazing way to store your wealth, and it protects the hell out of you. Go to drslikesgold.com. 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 4 data points. Be able to take the phone call. They're going to give you a phone number. If you can call it within 20 minutes, I'll tell you, it just helps. It helps. You don't have to. You can just give the 4 data points and just let things happen. But at the 20-minute, if you do that stuff, that's where the Ronald Reagan coin starts to kick in. That's where, just some cool stuff can happen. If you try to help the process a little. Help me, help you, help yourself. That's what I'm trying to do. Protect your wealth. I think there's still a lot of money baked into the gold and silver. I think there's still a lot of uncertainty still baked into the stock market. I would say we've been going down. It's not been going down fast, but it's heading in that direction. Trump will at some point get this stabilized out, but I think a lot of us realize the Fed's got to go. Right? And what does that mean? So, again, that's just a lot. I don't want to say it because, again, there's just legal stuff. Like, you guys got to kind of fill in the dots yourself. This is not a good time to stay in stocks. I would heavily diversify out. Precious metals are an excellent way and have performed exactly as I've been saying over the past 3 years that they were going to. They've done exactly that. They're above other investments. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. We got a bitchin' one here. Yeah. Mile. Tiempo de elegir. Fin. Time to choose. End. Dude, right? Time to choose. What did he do that's so cool other than choose two of the better tasting Jelly Bellies, like I said. Whichever of the three it could potentially be, because the red one, you never know. That blue one always tastes like that blue color, whatever that blue color artificially is. It's delicious. Javier Milei declassifies over 1,850 files on Nazi leaders in Argentina. Who wants to bet they weren't nearly as worried about the truth ever coming out in Argentina as they might have been here in the CIA with JFK stuff? Who wants to just take a guess in their own minds that some of these declassified files would suggest that Hitler was still alive, maybe? No, that can't be. He died in a pit on fire with his girlfriend. Right. And then he say he died of old age. A lot of stories of that happening, in fact. I got some fun voting stuff. I want to start with this story because it is meant to exemplify the people that downplay, oh, it's just one person they caught. I just want to acknowledge what one person can do. And this is just one lady, Ladita Anueta Ferrer. She's 64 or 64. She's of Montgomery Village, Maryland. Pleaded guilty today to embezzling more than $650,000. She was working for the U.S. State Department. Over a 2-year period, she stole this money. She was writing herself a bunch of checks because she had the ability to write checks for the government and then sign them. She was making these checks out to herself, signing them herself, and putting them in her bank accounts, checking and savings. Apparently, she had the wherewithal to move it around. You don't want to get caught. That'd be stupid. $650,000. One person. Again, you get 100 of them across the entire giant-ass government. Wow, that's a crap ton of money, isn't it? Well, same happens with elections. Get a few people that decide they're going to do something that's illegal, but never get in trouble for it. So they keep doing it. And they get their friends to help. And they expand. Well, that's not happening anymore. U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, Alina Habba. You've probably heard of her. She's a hottie. And smart. Yeah, smart and beautiful, folks. That is dangerous is what that is, frankly. She has announced the creation of a federal task force to preserve and protect the integrity of elections conducted in the District of New Jersey. Task force, it's been named Election Integrity Task Force, consists of a team of federal prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office who will work in conjunction with law enforcement officers from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Department of Homeland Security, and other federal agencies to implement the directives set forth in the President's March 2025 executive order concerning elections. They're going after New Jersey, folks. That's going to be a huge switchover. Another place, Arizona Congressman, is it Abe? I'm hoping. Hamadeh? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's Abe or Abe. I think it's Abe for some reason. Whatever it is. Mr. Hamadeh. He, alongside Alaska's Congressman Nick Begich, thank you guys, this is awesome, are leading the charge as they've introduced legislation to ban states from using ranked choice voting in federal elections. Bam! Take that, Alaska, Hawaii, and some of the other bastard places doing it. No offense, you can do it for all your shit elections, but not for federal. Yeah, Murkowski, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, I'm going to miss you. No, I won't. No, I won't. I'll treat you like people. I'll come up with something to make fun of your Murkowski ass. All right, we got some stuff here. I thought it was fantastic. Both of these were pretty cool, and I just like, screw it. I'm recording it. I'm going to put it out. I always bitch when people do it or don't do it or whatever. I've got 3 of these videos. I'm going to more or less play them. Not quite back to back. I'm going to jump in the middle and, interrupt or, talk about them and stuff. But here's Marco Rubio's entire speech. I've seen snippets of people that have put it out already, like as I was getting the rest of the news put together. And I was like, I'm so glad I shared this whole thing. It's 7.5 minutes, and it's epic. I'm going to play it a little bit faster, I think, just to help. I had to record it at normal speed, but we don't have to listen to it per se because I've got, I don't know, 15 plus 20 minutes video. It's going to make us long as it is already, but we've got some good stuff on this. So again, check it out. You can see I was already building my show, right? Like I was working through all my stories. I wasn't even, I had a lot of gaps in here I hadn't filled in yet. I was still on Russian Today or whatever the hell RT is. All said, this is Marco Rubio's speech. Pretty awesome. Check it out.
Well, it's not easy to go last after all these reports that have come here. First of all, so it better be good, and I'll be short as well. A couple things, Mr. President. I think you deserve a lot of credit for two things. The first is assembling this great team of people. Some of whom I've known for a long time, others who I've gotten to know during this period of time, but putting together a team, not just of talented individuals, but that work well together. It's something never going to be reported on in the media or fully seen, but it happens every single day. For the most part, I interact with almost everyone around this table at some level. And because of Secretary Kennedy, I'm afraid to eat anything. So,
At least in front of him.
he said Tootsie Rolls are okay in moderation. But it's a great team. And here's the second, and I tell this to people all the time. This is incredibly rewarding service, and you hear it in everyone's voices. Traditionally, in the past, and it's one of the problems we got in as a country, is presidents would say, okay, let's go do something, and then they would have to do a study, and then a study on the study, and then a long internal deliberative process, and by the time you got to it, it was too late, or somebody had forgotten it. In this administration, it's moving. You know the direction, because you know why you were elected. The American people elected you very clearly, and basically, it's measured, I used to say by days and weeks, now it's measured by hours and minutes, but action is happening. And that's what people want to see. And I'm going to talk about foreign policy in particular, because I'm not sure this is fully appreciated. This president inherited 30 years of foreign policy that was built around what was good for the world. In essence, the decisions we made as a government in trade and foreign policy was basically, is it good for the world? Is it good for the global community? And under President Trump, we're making a foreign policy now was it good for America? I was appointed by you and confirmed by the Senate to be the head of the United States Department of State. Not the World Department of State, not the Global Department of State, the United States Department of State. And what that means is our foreign policy is guided by three things. Does it make America stronger? Does it make America safer? And does it make America richer? If something doesn't do one of those three things, and hopefully all three of those things, we're not doing it. Now, we went out and hired a consulting firm to help us organize ourselves. Luckily, they were free. They're called the Department of Government Efficiency. And they helped us do a couple things. Number one is our foreign aid. We were funding some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. You tell me, how does a puppet show in some country around the world make us stronger, safer, or more prosperous? So we got rid of puppet shows and a bunch of other things. I'm sure there were very good puppet shows. And I'm sure that a bunch of charities in the world can go pay for it, but the American taxpayer should not. We've also, by the way, Mr. President, under your direction, reorganized the Department of State. We had offices within offices within offices that didn't even know they existed themselves, not to mention the rest of them. And so we've begun to reorganize that as a way to be able to empower our embassies and our ambassadors and our regional bureaus to do what many of them signed up to do. And we have a great team of ambassadors you've appointed. They're coming online every single day. Very talented people that are involved. Something else we got out of the business of, well, it wasn't widely reported, or maybe it was. We had an office in the Department of State whose job it was to censor Americans. And by the way, I'm not going to say who it is. I'll leave it up to them. There's at least one person at this table today who had a dossier in that building of social media posts to identify them as purveyors of disinformation. We have these dossiers. We are going to be turning those over to these individuals.
Me or Elon? We can follow up with the media story.
Well, we are going to turn over these dossiers to the individuals, and they'll decide whether they want to disclose it or not. But just think about the Department of State of the United States had set up an office to monitor the social media posts and commentary of American citizens to identify them as vectors of disinformation. When we know that the best way to combat disinformation is freedom of speech and transparency. And so that's what we're going to be in the business of doing. We're not going to have an office that does that. Beyond that, Mr. President, and this I'll move quickly because this has been a team effort, we have gone to countries all over the world and said, hey, you want good relations with the United States, you need to take back your people that are here illegally. And we've had historic cooperation. Beyond that, and I say this unapologetically, we are actively searching for other countries to take people from third countries. So we are actively, not just El Salvador, we are working with other countries to say, We want to send you some of the most despicable human beings to your countries. Will you do that as a favor to us? And the further away from America, the better, so they can't come back across the border. I'm not apologetic about it. We are doing that. The president was elected to keep America safe and to get rid of a bunch of perverts and pedophiles and child rapists out of our country. Here's something else we've done. We stopped giving student visas to people who are coming here to burn down our universities and take over libraries and harass people. Why are we giving student visas to people who are coming here to create disruption? And we've taken away the student visas of people that are coming here to do that. It's simple. If you're coming to America to start riots, we're not going to give you, we're going to take away your student visa. And by the way, every country in the world that I travel, 14 countries in 14 weeks, you know what they all say to me? Yes, that's what we would do too. So the only people who seem to disagree with this are a handful of federal judges and a bunch of crazy people who get paid to write and report. So anyway, we're getting rid of that. The last, but now here's some good news. You know, we're going to have the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, the FIFA Club Cup, and then we're going to have the Olympics. So we have to have a Consular Affairs Bureau. We have very good, talented people there, but we are going to infuse technology, again, working with our consultants, to be able to, millions of people are coming into this country for this. And, but we've done it to improve customer service. So some of us who served in Congress recognize that about a year and a half ago, we had a meltdown under Biden. You couldn't get a passport. You have people calling, I have a cruise on Friday, my passport expires. In the month of March, we processed 2.78 million Americans, their passports. That is the historic, never in any, it's the largest single month processing of passports ever, and we think it's a good way to build the momentum to be able to do the visas. Two last points I want to make. We have a great team that you've built. I want to especially acknowledge Steve Woodcock. This is a person that doesn't have to be doing what he's doing. He has a very good life in Miami, my hometown as well. He has worked incredibly hard, has done it without any agenda, and we need to acknowledge him. I want to acknowledge Mr. Boulos as well, who did something really great last week. They told us this war between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda is an intractable. It can never happen. It will never happen. I sent Mr. Boulos, your envoy. A week later, I look on my schedule, the signing of a declaration of peace between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. We signed it at the State Department last week. We hope it will lead now to a lasting, permanent peace that we hope to invite them back to Washington to sign. So two great, and we have a lot of good people working on our teams as well, but these are two great people. Mike Waltz alluded to this earlier, and this is the last point. In the first 100 days of the 47th presidency, 47 wrongfully detained Americans have been returned to the United States, thanks to your leadership and the diplomacy that was exercised to make that happen. 47 for the 47th president in the first 100 days, and that's all credit to you, Mr. President. Thank you for the honor to be able to serve alongside you, for you, and alongside all these excellent people.
Thank you very much, Marco.
Well said.
I love how he's like 47 people he's brought back that shouldn't have been sent away. He's able to do it. He's just not choosing to do it with this Abrego bastard with the MS-13 that apparently was literally MS-13. I wonder if one hand was the symbols. I don't know if you guys have seen the symbol pictures, but whatever. It still means MS-13. That ABC guy was being a douchehole nonetheless, which, you know, go figure. Nobody's surprised. But we have, here's the second one. These are solid questions. There's like 3 different questions in here. I thought all of them were really good, so I just kept them together. But it was, you know, we got lucky. It was right in a row. There was a bunch of crap in here, which I got one other interesting question. His answer was, meh, but we'll get there. That's the next Twitter thing. But check these out. Solid questions, 3 of them.
Meeting. And so if you'd like to ask a couple, if you'd like to pinpoint them to some of the secretaries, etc.,
yes,
would be fine. Yes.
President, Secretary Rubio, can I ask you a question? You brought up El Salvador in your remarks. Have you been in touch with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia? Has a formal request from this administration been made?
Well, I would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge. Because the conduct of our foreign policy belongs to the President of the United States and the executive branch, not some judge. So we will conduct foreign policy appropriately if we need to. But I'll never discuss it, and no one will ever make us discuss it, because that's how foreign policy works.
Mr. President, yesterday you told ABC News, Mr. President, you told ABC News yesterday that you could get Abrego Garcia back if you wanted to. Do you think President Bukele would turn you down if you made that request?
I really don't know. I know that he's been a great friend of our country. He's gotten a lot less money than this would take from us if we were going to build these jails and do what he's doing. And they run a very professional operation. I don't know. I haven't spoken to them. I really leave that to the lawyers, and I take my advice from Pam and everybody that is very much involved. They know the laws, and we follow the laws exactly.
Mr. President.
Yeah,
In the
please.
transition, sir, you frequently took credit for the stock market highs. You said it was a reflection of how well you were doing in the polls, and then after you were elected, you said the stock market highs were a reflection of how well the transition's going and the American people's confidence in your incoming administration. Now, the stock market's not doing so well, and you're saying that's the Biden stock market, yet you are the president. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'm not taking credit or discredit for the stock market. I'm just saying that we inherited a mess, both at the borders. You could look at every single one of the people here, and no matter who it is, they're doing better, and they are far superior to what took place for 4 years before us. When you look at prisoners being allowed to come into our country at will, just at will, people from mental institutions, gang members, drug dealers, when you look at that, what they've done to our country, and also having to do with finance, look at what happened with inflation. We had the worst inflation probably in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but I would say in the history of our country, it ate away at people. And even though you saw a stock market going up somewhat, because in my case, I had the biggest stock market increase, 88% in the last term, in my last term. But I don't view the stock market as the end all. It's an indicator. But what the stock market really tells you, and when you look at the stock market in this case, is it says how bad a situation we inherited. This is a quarter that we looked at today, and we took all of us together. We came in on January 20th. So this is Biden, and you could even say the next quarter is sort of Biden, because it doesn't just happen on a daily or an hourly basis. But we're turning it around. It's a victory financially. We reset the table. We were being ripped off by every single country, with just about without exception. I'd have to really think hard for who hasn't taken advantage. And I don't even blame those countries. I blame the person that was sitting right here where I am for allowing it to happen, where our country was ripped off on trade, hundreds of billions of dollars. And now we're doing better than we've done in a long time. You know, we were losing $4 to $5 to even $6 billion a day on trade with Biden. And now we have it down to a very manageable number, and the tariffs, for the most part, haven't even kicked in yet. So that's the way. Stock markets, to me, are an indication, but the big indication is what's happening, and the people around the table know what's happening. Yes.
The Ukraine minerals deal is set to be signed in 24 hours or
What's
so.
it?
Is it true that the Ukraine minerals deal is about to be signed in the next 24 hours or so? There's some reports saying that. And if it's true, has the deal changed at all from the last time we heard about it?
Well, I'll ask Scott to answer the question because he's responsible for it.
Yeah, our side's ready to sign. Ukrainians decided last night to make some last-minute changes. We're sure that they will reconsider that, and we are ready to sign this afternoon if they are.
Can you talk about those last-minute changes? What was removed or put in its place?
Nothing's been removed. It's the same agreement that we agreed to on the weekend. No changes on our side.
Just to put that in perspective, though, when I came here, I said, how much money have we given to Ukraine? The real number is about $350 billion. It's unthinkable. And we had no security, we had no nothing. We were just pouring money there, unsecured money, putting it in banks, and anybody could have taken it out. You know, anybody over there, it was their decision. I've never seen anything like it. Europe, on the other hand, which it's obviously that whole situation is much more important to Europe because we have an ocean in between. But Europe gave about $100 billion. It's a lot of money. It's a big sacrifice they made also. But they gave much less than we did. And their money is secured, totally secured, by deposits in banks. The deposits are largely Russian deposits. That's what Europe did, but their money is secured. So they gave $100 billion totally secured. We gave money like it's throwing it out the window. And it was done by Biden, and this is Biden's war. This isn't Trump's war. I'm trying to get out. And more than the money, they're losing about 5,000 young Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week, mostly. There's some people also being killed in towns where missiles should not have been shot, small cities and towns. But we are trying to save the lives of about 5,000 young, mostly soldiers. that are losing their lives a week. I see satellite photos, probably off one of his satellites, come to think of it. But I see satellite photos every week of fields with arms and heads and legs scattered all over. It's a violent, horrible situation. And more important than the money, I want to save the lives of people from other countries that are dying so stupidly, so needlessly, and they're dying. But I said, what are we doing? How did we get into this war? Would have never happened if I were president. Everybody knows, and it didn't happen for 4 years. Wasn't even thought of. I discussed it with President Putin a lot. Ukraine was the apple of his eye, but there was no way he was going to do anything. Zero chance. And I said, we feel foolish. The Europeans are putting up money. It's totally secure. They get the money back. We're putting up much more money. We have absolutely nothing. And I didn't want to make a complicated deal. I didn't want to make a deal that couldn't be made because Ukraine doesn't have very much money. They're going through a very bad period of time. It's been brutal. But I felt very foolish being a judge. So I said, well, we want something for our efforts beyond what you would think would be acceptable. And we said rare earth. They have very good rare earth. As you know, we're looking for rare earth all the time. Rare earth is called rare for a reason. And they have a lot. And we made a deal where our money is secure, where we can start digging and doing what we have to do. It's also good for them because you'll have an American presence at the site, Chris. And the American presence will, I think, keep a lot of bad actors out of the country, or certainly out of the area where we're doing the digging. So we made a deal, and I assume they're going to honor the deal. And I put Scott in charge, and Scott's done it beautifully, but we haven't really seen the fruits of that deal yet. I suspect we will. I suspect we will too.
Again, just what is happening in the answers to Marco Rubio? It's so funny how he went from like nice and cordial and all that to like I don't even know how to like mean face, like not mean, but just like stern. I like that guy. I like him. Don't know why I can't shut this though. Yeah, there you go. Bye. This is the second one I did on my page. By the way, I know I can promote. Thanks, man, for letting me know. More registered users. Just pay us some money for an advertising campaign. I could have. Who knows? But I don't want to. By the way, for those of you, if you guys out in my audience, I'd love it if you'd seriously subscribe or promote or not promote, whatever. Subscribe to my crap. I don't have a lot of followers, obviously, at least relative to here, but it's at OTF with DRS, at OTF with DRS. That would be me. I'm a blue check mark, literally. So yeah, check it out, please, and sub if you could. That'd be awesome. I mean, I put my videos up there now. I actually trying to be a little more active. This is probably one of the most active places I am outside of Rumble. Well, BitChute and all the other places, but for all the people all over the place, this is where I would recommend. So again, at OTF with DRS. I appreciate you checking us out. This one's reasonably short. Great question. Rogue judges. What's he going to do about it? Yeah. You'll see.
You mentioned this last night in your speech at home, but we're facing an unprecedented situation where there's a lot of abuses of nationwide injunctions, sort of seemingly designed to hurt.
But a lot worse than that. I think our country could have been a total disaster. Bad things were happening with our country, and we've stemmed the tide. We've turned it around, but we're going to really turn it around over the next 3 years, 3.5 years. We're going to turn it around, and then hopefully it'll be in such great shape. That's my goal, to put it in such great condition that it can't be destroyed.
You mentioned this last night in your speech at home, but we're facing an unprecedented situation where there's a lot of abuses of nationwide injunctions, sort of seemingly designed.
I feel like I screwed that up. That's a bummer. I missed the edit. I was speeding up to try to get back to the point to re-record. Whatever. This was he was asked about the rogue judges and whether or not he would do what 3 other presidents have done, and he kind of left it up in the air, like if I got to do that, I got to do that. That's a bummer. I almost want to delete it. Oh, can I delete? Yeah, let's just delete because that's a crap post. That's not cool. Yeah, there you go. Done on the fly. Who cares? That's what happens. I effed it up. Kristi Noem vows to immediately deport and the Kilmore Abrego Garcia dude. If he's returned, she will immediately send him back packing to his home country if he'd like. So yeah, that fight's ready to go. ICE deports 65,000 illegal immigrants in Trump's first 100 days. Not a bad set of rounded numbers, obviously. State Department revokes 4,000 foreign students' visas in the first 100 days of Trump's term. Again, I feel like that's a good thing. Healthy Home, guys. I love this product. I love how it affects me. I love what I've experienced with it. I do 3 of the products, and I am very, very stoked with them, but they've got a couple more, and it's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know. It's like challenging. It's like, I kind of want to do them all. I feel like that's a drug habit. It's awesome, but it's making a difference. I was having issues with my shoulder. Damaged it because I dislocated it doing a stupid thing in my life, and it's just, there are times, literally, I can't go to the batting cage and bat right-handed anymore, which I used to be a really good hitter, and I can't hit right-handed anymore because every time I hit the ball, especially when I connect, it pops my shoulder out, and it hurts like a motherfucker. Like, that's like when Riggs did it in Lethal Weapon, he's just like, oh yeah, he's just like, was all walking around crazy, which is, mine pops back in, thank God. He's like bangs it against the wall. Oh, Lord. That would hurt so extraordinarily bad because the few times in my life where I've popped it out again, freaking hurts. I've also cracked 2 ribs 2 different times. That's extraordinarily painful. I don't want to rate the 2. They're both up in the pain factor hard. I've never had a baby, at least that I remember in this life. So, I don't know, ladies, it's probably worse, I'm sure. Stem Active Gel. It gets your stem cells up. I take this every day. Oops, I should have a camera on because then showing you the pictures would make more sense, or at least me shaking it. Yeah, so the Stem Active is, I take it every day. 2 pills, boom. I hear they're big. Depends how you look at big. Just Stem Active Gel, though, is like a liquid way to do it. Believe it or not, it seems less expensive. It's probably easier to package, to be honest. It's probably a big part of it. All said, they help your body create more of its own stem cells. It does not put stem cells into you. That's usually coming from fetal cells. Embryonic ones, usually stuff from, what's that company? Parenting, the one that does abortions all the time. Yeah, them. That comes from them. This causes your body to produce 25 to 40% more on its own. And stem cells are I like calling them androgynous cells. They're cells that can become anything. You got a lung that needs to heal. You got a cut. Then you got skin cells that need to happen. You got muscle tissue pull that's happened. You've got joints having issues. You've got arthritis even. Stem Active is playing a huge role in your body having the extra cells to fix and repair these other places. And how they do that, like I said, androgynous, they run. They're like, oh, I need lung cells. And the androgynous cells run, and they get to the lungs, and they're like, boom, and they become lung cells. And forever they shall be lung cells or muscle cells, skin cells. They heal you. They're amazingly powerful. I've been tripping on the shoulder thing a lot. Like, I can still aggravate it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like it's like, oh, it's back to when I was 20. No, it's still injured. Like, if I went to the batting cage, it'd still hurt like a mofo so no. But when I was working out, just daily life stuff, it doesn't hurt like that at all anymore. At all. I like that. That's a groovy step forward. Balance for ladies, hitting in that place where your temperature is all out of control in your body and stuff. I don't want to get into it too much, but this is hormone support without hormone therapy. It's not putting any hormones in you because we know what happens when you do that. This helps your body do it. It's plant-based. It's incredible ingredients. It's literally like a lotion, which I think is super cool. I wish they could do that with this. If you guys figure out how to make a gel do that, that's badass. But yeah, you just like rub it on your thing and it's like, boom. And it just absorbs because that's what you put it there because that's where you get those veins on both sides. So you're just maximizing exposure, and it absorbs. It's transdermal, the way they do it. It's freaking awesome. And it just helps your body with its hormones. And it's supposed to be good for guys. I don't know. Ladies, let's just, Amaze, collagen support, peptides. Collagen peptides, important protein in the body, hair, joint, muscles, all that stuff. It's going to help you. It's a liquid. It's delicious. This one's 15-pack, by the way. Just keep that in mind. Everything else is 30-pack or 60 if you have to take 2 a day, like this guy up here. But it's a month supply. for some reason, the collagen, I don't know, maybe you're supposed to take it every other day. Maybe. You can do that if you want. It's up to you. It helps, though, a lot. Stem Active for pets. Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's pretty inexpensive, by the way. Pets have injuries and all that stuff, too. They need stem cells. Same things happen inside their body. That is what is causing them to heal. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Hit that shop tab and make it happen, Captain. They've got some great choices. I highly recommend it. It is an incredible product. The Prime I didn't talk about, but it's so incredible. It expands your blood vessels. It's energy without any, and it's really quick acting. Like, I've actually been trying to pay attention to that, and it's like, I swear to God, it feels pretty close to instant. It's weird. It just really you start to, I don't know, it's incredible. That Prime stuff's delicious, too. It's actually starting to taste more and more better every single day. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices. Keep your life healthy. You're going to love it in the end. That is for sure. $6 billion shortfall being talked about with the transit systems. I assume this is they say the federal government, but it stepped in with pandemic money, $70 billion. And that's like drying up. And I'm assuming a few cities, they say New York, Chicago, San Francisco. Surprised anybody? Their mass transit's terribly expensive. They're expecting more help from the government, and the government's obviously not going to give them anything. And, they're all sanctuary cities, too. Oh, man, it's going to be fun times, folks. Just saying. This is funny. She makes a slip about people. That's what happens when it goes to the speed of sound. But it just kind of like you redshift away from it. I don't know. It's probably not true. Whatever. I'm making it up. Yeah, no, for sure making it up. Smirking Fox News host accused of homophobia because she seemed like accidentally said the word fag as fagaji, hag, that F-A-G part. And, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Masculinity problem memo. He's pretending not to be a beta. He grew a beard and he hit the manosphere, the male podcast world.
I do think my party needs to do a much better job, especially with the kind of finger wagging that you're talking about. I think we are like very prone to that. You get this sense of like moral conviction and you're so sure of it that you start to think it makes it okay to be an asshole.
Isn't Pete the worst virtue signaling winger wagger?
Except here.
Whoops. Is it just me, or does he he just screams lumberjack, right? I mean, screams it. Lumberjack. No, not at all. Sorry, man. You scream, hello, it's time at the opera. That's what you screamed at me, man. Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley said the two President Trump's nominee for U.S. attorneys, New York, the Southern District guy. The guys, we've been talking about this guy for a long time. The guy, they won't actually let him go through. Chuck Schumer's blocking it because it's his state. And it's where all the good shit is, all of it. Epstein. We can't get our hands on this stuff, guys. All the people screaming about the Epstein files won't come out. Everything. I'm telling you guys, Juan O'Saban, please help me out on this one, guy. Please. It's the only favor I'm going to ask of you, sir. The only favor. Basically, call me I'm wrong, whatever. That's fine. I'll take it, whatever. It'll hurt, but nah. Everything in SDNY, we can't have. It's blocked somehow. Pam can say she can go in there, but is she going to find it? Are they letting Doge go in there with their algorithms and to find it? Doubt it. So no, we can't get in. Epstein, Diddy's over there. That's where that little wanker that did the crypto shit was. Whole bunch of people. In fact, probably have criminals going back years. This is the Vatican vault of illegality in this country. You want JFK files? I guarantee there's some in there too. They won't let us in. This is huge. And Chuck's like, I'm not going to be able to pass you through, is what Chuck Grassley's saying. I mean, again, I get it. I'm not saying it's right. I get it. He's got to play his cards the way he's got to play his cards. So as of now, Trump's not getting that guy in. Oh, who, by the way, is the dude in the interim. You know, he's got to have somebody there to fill in for the meantime. So that's who's there while they wait to try to confirm him. So again, how this works, we'll see. Maybe this was all to get the right guy in. I don't know. Maybe the right guy's there right now. Don't know. Don't know what access he's got. I guarantee they're keeping him out, though. Deep State owns that place, owns that spot. I feel like I'm kicking a dead horse here, but I apologize. New bill targets fentanyl dealers with felony murder charges. Huge. I don't know. Man, I used to buy pot illegally and a couple other things, but not, I mean, I got friends that are cokeheads, I'm not, but you know, like I've done things, I've done things that it was technically illegal, right? I had a cop catch me one time with pot, made me bust my pipe and dump all my pot, sucked really bad. And I would have been bummed that I had to go to jail forever, right? That's one thing we did here in California, but fentanyl's really bad, man. So I don't know. Like, it seems like the idea of making the punishment worse, which I don't know if I agree with that ideology that, punishment keeps people from doing stuff. They just try harder not to get caught, at least the smart ones. But a lot of idiots end up getting abused more than they maybe should. I mean, anyway, like I said, I grew up in a weird household. I can't help myself. I apologize. But it is, it's an interesting thought process, And again, I think felony murder charges, yeah. I mean, if you're a dealer, a felony murder charge, that's going small. At least they're not hitting you with death yet. Attempted murder, because that's going to come. That's going to come. Hey, our little sweetheart of a judge in Wisconsin, the Supreme Court chick, they suspended her for helping an illegal immigrant. She's been suspended for this whole thing. So, yeah. Judge Hannah C. Dungan is temporarily prohibited from exercising the power of circuit court judge in the state of Wisconsin, effective the date of this order until further order of the court. They don't even have to ever talk about it again. She just stays forever like that. It was written as such. Judge bars Border Patrol from making warrantless arrests of illegal immigrants in parts of California. Federal judge, California judge, of course, says they can't do that. Now, here's the thing that's funny is Trump owns that 60-foot area on the border. Owns it. It's federal land. So anything that happens there, sorry, they have nothing to say. So again, this U.S. Border Patrol, I think it's, we sort of covered the story, I believe, a little already, is when going into cities, if they don't have a warrant, they can't just pull people out of their homes or whatever. I'm going to guarantee you that's not legal. And I'm assuming what this is going to do, and we should all enjoy, because this is one of those foreshadowing techniques, we call it, in the movie business, right? You guys know foreshadow, right? Look it up if you don't. It's really cool. It's a great literative practice in writing. I'm not a good writer, but I try to do it in videos sometimes. Judge bars Border Patrol from making warrantless. Okay. All right. We're going to immediately send a bunch of people, and we were going to take down another of your illegal underground facilities that you've got going on and arrest everybody without a warrant. And we're going to deport them while you put the paperwork together to make sure they can't deport them. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. Coming to a theater near you, that's for sure. Judge orders Trump admin to disperse $12 million in funding to Radio Free Europe. Judge can't do this. She says Congress decides how much money is to be spent, but it's the executive to decide how that money is spent. It's spent within certain rules, within certain guidelines, which Congress puts together. Yes, I agree. Does it have to be exactly the corporation company that's involved? Because now those companies have been found to be doing things that are bad. X, Y, and Z is bad. I'm not giving you any more money for that, Judge. I don't care what you say. It's going against what we're doing as a country right now. You're not in charge of that, Judge. Put your robe back on. It's unattractive. So that's where we're at. So U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth issued a temporary restraining order sought to the media group, directing U.S. AGM to immediately disperse over $12 million in funding for the month. Because, irreparable harm. Yeah, I get what they're saying. Then they go into the story. They're like, and they're likely to win the case. No, they're not. Illegal alien who is a suspected leader of violent Trinidad gang busted in California. What? Did they just arrest somebody? This was yesterday at least. What? An alleged leader just arrested straight up? We don't seem to care, do we? Trump tells court his tariff powers can't be reviewed by judges. He's pushing for a clash. The administration asked the U.S. Trade Court to reject a lawsuit by small businesses challenging the president's global tariffs, arguing that judges don't have the authority to review the national emergency he invoked to justify the sweeping levies. The temporary injunction the businesses have sought against the tariffs should be denied or at least limited so it applies only to the plaintiffs in the case rather than nationwide, the Justice Department said in a filing Tuesday, basically calling out what the Supreme Court has said in the past, by the way. The power of a district court only affects the actual businesses involved. Now, can they try to sign on more businesses going forward? Sure, but it's a giant pain in the ass. It slows the process down. So, yeah, feel free. Sign on a bunch of people. It's going to take you way, 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 way longer. Or what they'll do is cheat. And we'll catch them. Again, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial, but these are some of the wonderful options in front of us. Hate being the dick that feels like he's seen the movie already. It's kind of what it feels like. House GOP proposes removing antitrust authority from the FTC. It's just an amendment they're proposing. It's an interesting idea. They're going to try to roll it into the Justice Department. This definitely sounds like we're trying to shut down a lot of the bureaucracy that doesn't need to be there. That stuff could fall under a different location, and it would make funding easier also. They don't need separate buildings, separate everything. You could actually do it under the same umbrella and then now get a bulk rate, if you will, on a lot of stuff. We can take advantage of some of the properties that we've got. So, again, not a bad choice. The Root Brands, just good stuff. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, guys. I just want to remind you guys, therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. Therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. The Root Brands. ROOT. Therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. Just huge, awesome products. I'm enjoying the Sculpt. Just don't want to. Zero's the other one, Zero In. It gives great energy in a kind of different way than this stuff, by the way. It is a more, not jittery in any way. Like, I've actually taken up to 2 of them, and it's just, I don't know. I'm able to just zero in on the TV, the news stories, story after story, rather than getting distracted by was that a squirrel? Oh wow, I want to, no, it's not. It's actually just stays focused, and I've got energy, and I'm awake, and I'm up, and it's good. And I've used it even at times when I'm going out with friends. So it works like that too. And I'll take, a couple, pop them off, few hours, number of hours. I'm good. I'm grooving. So again, it's good stuff. They've got great products. Go to therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. Therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. Again, there's a lot of great healthy products. That's what I'm trying to get into, folks, or want you guys to be into, because being healthy is important. I want you guys to hear this. This is RFK Jr. talking about how doctors get paid when it comes to vaccines. And it's not per vaccine, as many would suspect. It's worse.
Typical pediatrician's office makes about 50% of its funding comes from vaccines, not actually from selling the individual vaccines, from the traffic. I mean, when I was a kid, I went to the doctor when I needed stitches, and that's it. And today, every kid goes to the doctor at least 10 times to get their vaccines, and that foot traffic in and out of the office is a major part of the business plan for the pediatrician office. And they're also then rewarded by Blue Cross Blue Shield, which has a reward schedule for pediatricians who vaccinate 80 or 85% of the kids in their office. Get these giant bonuses, I think $40 or $400 per kid, huge amounts of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars that they make, making sure that 85% of the kids are vaccinated, and that's why they throw you out of the office if you fight back. It's not because they care so much about your particular kid. It's that you'll throw off the metrics and you'll lose them their bonuses. And so and those schedules have now been published so people can actually go look at the Blue Cross Blue Shield schedule and you can see what your pediatrician is making, and it's huge amounts of money from complying. And so, they have these perverse incentives that make it so that they're not really treating your kid as an individual patient. And so your job in a democracy, in today's democracy, is to do your own research. And that's hard to do, but you need to do it to protect your child.
Yep. That's what we got to do to protect ourselves, even for that matter, too. Pete Hegseth had a great little speech here in front of all his people, and I think, was Trump there? I think Trump was possibly there. I don't know, I forget. I think he was. Hang on. Yeah, Trump is there. And they're playing Hail to the Chief, of course. But Hegseth's words are pretty awesome. And I think a lot of the warfighters out there, I hope, are appreciating where we're at right now, and ooh-ah or oorah or cool.
Only because the Commander-in-Chief invited me. Mr. President, thank you for restoring the warrior ethos inside our formations, for rebuilding our military, reestablishing deterrence around the world, and making Americans proud to wear the uniform. That recruiting surge we're seeing right now is because they know they have a Commander-in-Chief that has their back. That's my message to these men and women every single place we go. All I ever wanted when I was in combat was to know that my commander had my back, no matter what. And with Donald J. Trump, that commander has your back. And that means something to the men and women of America, and that's why we're seeing a record surge in recruiting. That's why we're locking down our southern border. That's why our enemies know we mean business, because we have a Commander-in-Chief that has our back, and he has the back of this base as well. God bless you all. Thank you.
That's Wicked Gretchen over here, by the way. Supposedly, Trump made a deal where her base, where they're at right here, National Guard, is going to have one mission. That was all I read. I don't know. We'll see what that was, but it's going to keep it alive. Sounds like he's giving her an olive branch. We'll see what happens, because she's got to start doing the right thing. We know that. Venezuela prepares Marxist May Day rallies demanding release of U.S. deported Tren de Aragua illegals. I don't think Venezuela is going to handle any sort of crazy stuff, but yes, supposedly Venezuela is behind it, Mr. Maduro, which this is going to help to a large extent because, like Trump said, he's trying to find other countries that are going to take some of these people, because probably the dude in El Salvador is like, bro, we've pretty much filled up my prison. Like, that sucks, a little bit. We need to build another one, which I'm sure they're starting, and Trump's probably like, damn. Yeah, that's true. We got like millions of people we got to shove in jail. Can't just like launch them to the Mars. We want to see if real people can make it to Mars alive. So we're going to shove you in a capsule, teach you how to eat toothpaste, and hopefully you survive. We'll see what happens. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Who knows? Oh, you missed the wave. I love when that happens. Whatever. So yeah, crazy stories going on. Don't build a ghost fleet. So I'm talking about how we've got to build up our shipbuilding, and there's huge concerns around how we could do that. The fact that budgets are not showing the ability to do that. It would cost, they say, nearly $1 trillion to reach the 85 additional ships that they're asking for. Expect roughly $40 billion annually for 10 years. It talks about how woefully updated our shipbuilding is, how so much of the extra cost of our shipbuilding is around mistakes made, how our shipbuilding is just in a bad place. And first thing I'm gonna say is government inefficiency. That's the problem. Second, I'm gonna probably say is unions. No offense to anybody in the unions. I'm sure you're making more money. I'd love to see that all change. Just give people a good wage, and I think these days are coming. Unions are just a middleman. They suck off the teat. They're like a parasite, really. They claim to do good, but most of the time they're really not. The incentive for the business to work with good employees or else lose them, because there's going to be a lot of industry that wants good people. Like, hell, I might even at some point be like, man, I wonder if I want to try to get back into doing something fun, Like, I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully. We'll see. Life is groovy like that, Like, you start to be intrigued again. So we are going through a huge transition, and if we need to keep continuing to build ships, again, I don't know if this is money that's sort of being siphoned off into secret space programs. I mean, I hope, honestly. I hope when you say $1 trillion, you're actually building like anti-gravity stuff and just you're telling us it's ships. I hope. I pray. Please tell me that's what you're saying. But whatever. Yeah, if we're going to spend $1 trillion on new stuff that does cool shizzle, yeah, we probably should. Makes sense, I guess, to a large extent. I'd like to see that explained a little better. So just kind of a funny thing with the whole Portugal thing. They've gone net zero, so they were bragging about it, and then obviously have this huge collapse. So I think the white hats were very much behind this, and or literally was just the sun, who knows. But the white hats make a lot of sense. What's funny is what they ended up having to do, excuse me, is fire up a bunch of coal plants so they could get enough of a grid going to be able to get stuff fired up to get the rest of the grid going, and then they could shut down the coal, and the grid's going now on like the non-green stuff. It would be all the, I think that, what do they call it, spinning or whatever they call it, combined cycle, whatever, versus solar. Because the solar was causing a huge problem, and it was immediately, once they went full 100%, they immediately had problems, immediately. And they were just struggling to keep things to work. And so that also seems to be baking into the, well, there was an atmospheric situation. And maybe, in all honesty, these atmospheric situations, I don't know about you guys, Bluetooth, my Bluetooth stuff, I went through a few days now. It's like sort of finally cleaning up. But I don't know, I swear to God, for the past like 4 days, a lot of Bluetooth stuff has gotten weird. Now, for anyone who's like, dude, you should see Kim Gogan's video. I saw it, and she talks about it, and that might be true. It fits, who knows? I've experienced that for sure. Like literally, I got an oven and it was being weird. I literally had to put it in lock mode so it wouldn't like do that. What was it? There's another Bluetooth device I have that it's being weird. I've been having issues with the headphones, my Bose headphones that I use when I work out. I was having issue with my speaker that I use in the morning when I like take a shower and I'll put like music on or sort of talk or something. Like, I don't know. I was having it all over the place. Maybe you guys have too. I don't know. I'm not trying to like tell you, but it's been weird. So a lot of weird stuff happened. And yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's been strange as hell. What was the, I swear there was something I had to reboot my phone like friggin' 3 times. It was being weird. Rumble's been glitchy. A lot of people have told me about this. They had this auto quality too now. It's strange. I don't know. Rumble's done some weird stuff too. I don't know what's going on, how much of it's them versus how much of it's something else. Trump is arguing it's been easier to deal with Putin than Zelensky. I think we need to keep this in mind because this war is, well, it's either going to get way worse or they're finally going to sign on the dotted line. Rumor is they're going to sign, but we'll see.
And things were said, like when Zelensky was in the Oval Office, I was talking about getting it done, and he starts screaming, but we need security, meaning security after the fact. I said, security? I don't even know if we can get this deal done. He's asking for more, just more and more and more. And he doesn't have the cards, as you know, because you see what's happening over there. He doesn't have the cards. So hopefully he's going to get it done, because I don't believe that Vladimir Putin would be doing this for anybody else but me. A lot of people have said it too. I think he had the idea of going all the way through. I think he's willing to make a deal. And I would say thus far, he's been easier to deal with than Zelensky. And
yeah, he's been much easier to deal with. So we're going through those last minute negotiations. We'll see. There was a last minute mineral deal. Ukraine was on their way to the United States, and basically Bessent was like, whoa, look, here's the deal. All the terms have to be accepted, not just the mineral terms. I don't know, made it sound like there was 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of terms, maybe more. And they were like, okay, we'll do those one. We'll do that one. We're on our way. Bad accent. I know. They're still on their way. Bessent told the team we should be ready to sign all agreements or get the F out, GTFO, in which case they started to GTFO, and they GTF'd. They've GTF'd, owed, out. Russia thanks, U.S., for its help during World War II. So Russia's like, hey, thank you guys. You guys did make a huge difference. By the way, just to remind everybody, and I think that's why they're doing this, I think Donald Trump's like, I wish I'd turned my camera on. I hit the button, I think, sometimes too. So anyway. Russia's like, hey, I just want to remind the whole world that we used to be best friends, or good friends. We used to fight with each other. We used to tell jokes. We would drink the vodka. We'd have good times. It was good times. You should talk. Now we're hunt for Red October. We've got to steal the submarine. Anyway, it's a long story. Russia's thanking us. Hey, thanks you for World War II. And, by the way, if I can do things properly, Trump's even like, says, hey, look, Ukraine. Look, says Ukraine, if you don't sign on the dotted line, if you don't get on board, if you don't get on the fun train here, you are literally going to get crushed very shortly. I don't think Trump said it like that. It'd be rad if he did, though. You know, if he was like just like Mr. Soundman crushed, right? Like, it's like every time he says cool words. China. He just has a cool ass accent and nasally kind of delivery. Love Trump's voice. I wish I could do it. I wish I could do half the voices I try to do, by the way. That makes more sense, too. You got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you need more Kabul. Zelensky openly threatening Victory Day terrorist attack. Victory Day. Yes, he wants to attack them on their very special day when the Nazis were defeated. The Nazi wants to attack on the Nazi day. Anyway, just bringing that to people's attention because that's always fun to keep those things in mind. UK is joining the U.S. in airstrikes against the Houthis in Yemen. I don't know what's going on here. This is strange to me. The British Ministry of Defense told on Wednesday its forces have conducted joint airstrikes against what it claims was Houthi-controlled military facilities. Why are they? I don't understand. I don't know. Kind of thought England was like mad at us. I don't know. It was just weird stuff going on over there. I don't know. I just felt like it was an awkward friendship. It's been lately, and I didn't know how to bring it up. I don't know, whatever the case is, we seem to be hanging out again. We're like, we're mates, it's cool. Let's go get a pint or beer. I don't know, 32 ounce. What is a pint? I don't know. I still don't know what the hell. I got to translate it in my own mind. I was like, what's that equal? 32 or is that like the bigger one? Because I don't want the bigger one, really, frankly. Is there a 40? You got one of them? We call it a 40. 4-0. Oh, we made songs about that damn thing. Pint. What the shit is that? Anyway, whatever. I digress. CIA can neither confirm nor deny whether secret Virginia site is theirs. It's a bunch of stuff that nobody knows about. It's been asked about. They were trying to sell it. Within 24 hours, immediately it was removed from the listing. It's just, don't know. People have asked. They've got funky names. Weird warehouse complex. It's supposed to be empty. They're trying to shut it down. I don't know if this is one of those scream test things. I kind of think it was the good guys trying to get the bad guys to at least show like something, like because they're like, we're just gonna go ahead and sell this place, man. No biggie. Yeah, no, we'll auction off the shit that's inside of it. And they're like, no, JFK's body's in there or something or whatever. We got ET's in there. The Ark of the Covenant's in there. I don't know, the Sword of Destiny or Spear of Destiny or the Rod of my ass. I don't know, whatever this shit's called. Whatever the case was, they immediately pulled it off. I think it's funny. Kind of, right? I mean, the Franconia building, the Butler building. Hello, that's where Benson's at. I don't know. That was kind of a racist show back in the day too, wasn't it? Different Strokes was one of the worst. I used to watch that. I loved it. What are you talking about, Willis? How things have changed so much. It's so strange. The world we're in. Folks, I'm with you. I'm along for the ride. I'm going to do the best I can to enjoy that with you. I'm going to help. I like to think I'm a guiding light, but sometimes I feel like I'm just an idiot trying to go where I'm pretty sure I need to go, and I'm just not going to listen to a lot of people tell me where I think we should go over there. I got you. We'll go over there. Have a good time. I'm going to go this way. I'm almost 100% sure. I'll assess as I go. And that's what I'm doing. I hope you guys want to be there. I hope you guys come along. I hope you guys keep rippling, because frankly, I feel like we're the porch lights of the moths of many. You know, like the people that we're going to be helping are the moths. And you, are the porch light. You're that one light in the darkness. And the brighter that light is, the further it reaches, the more moths will see you and the more help you will provide. And I'm doing the same exact thing with you every single day. I love you. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.